Well, welcome to Cover 2 TV. I'm Chris Pajak. Here's Steve Hoare. It's the preview show. It's week 8 of the NFL. We're going to focus on 4 games, and those 4 games are Minnesota, Cleveland, the game at Twickenham that we're both going to, Houston, Seattle, Dallas, Washington, and San Francisco, Philadelphia, before we take a look around the league. So let's start off Minnesota Vikings, Cleveland. I'm kind of glad that the Vikings were playing Cleveland over here because I kind of want to see the Vikings win another game of football on English soil. My 2 favourite teams in the NFL are the Minnesota Vikings and the Pittsburgh Steelers. I got to see the Minnesota Vikings beat the Pittsburgh Steelers a few years ago and I was absolutely made up. Listen, we should beat the Cleveland Browns. I'm not taking anything for granted. Ultimately, it will be a Cleveland home game. And that does make a little bit of a difference at these international games. I've seen it before where Jacksonville Jaguars have won a game of football that they really shouldn't have won because ultimately people go there, realise that it's a home game and do cheer the home team on.
And the underdog as well, maybe.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very British, isn't it? Love it. Love an underdog.
I'm picking the Vikings, though.
Obviously, and the Vikings should handily beat the Browns. The Browns are a mess at the minute, so it looks like Myles Garrett won't play, which I'm very disappointed about. I was looking forward to seeing him live. Joe Thomas, their best player, is not going to play, which, again, a bit nerdy to want to go and watch an offensive lineman, but hey, I'm a bit of a nerd, so that's fine. Kaiser's a bit of a mess at the moment. He's having, he got caught partying 2 days for a game, which is just ridiculous. So the Vikings, it should be unfortunate for us as Brits. There's been pretty bad games at Wembley and at Twickenham this year. They've been, the Saints battered the Dolphins by a blowout. We've seen
blowout last weekend.
The Rams, and stuff. Jacksonville won again another blowout against the Ravens, and this has got every bit of the potential to be the same. I hope it's not. I hope it's a close game. In fact, I hope Cleveland win, but they're not going to. It's going to be 20-25 points, isn't it?
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Listen, as we said on the overtime show, even. The Minnesota Vikings are finding a way to win at the minute. We've got Case Keenum, a quarterback who is playing okay. He's playing good football. He's playing enough, and the defense is playing enough, and the defense should have an absolute field day on the Cleveland Browns. I can't wait to see this man, Harrison Smith, attacking Kaiser. I cannot wait to see Rhodes in the flesh. I can't wait to see Everson Griffin. I'm excited to see these players.
Yeah, we're going to make the trip down, aren't we, Sunday? We're getting the train down, so I keep an eye on our social feeds. We'll be doing a bit of interactive stuff, a bit of live stuff and what have you. And yeah, listen, the Vikings should win handily. That defence is just too good for Cleveland's offence at the moment. Brown's line's pretty good actually, but Kaiser just holds the ball a lot. There's just too much going wrong. And listen, I don't know, I might be presumption this, but a lot of teams fire their coach after Wembley because they get a bye. There's a big, there's a time difference. A lot of the media are away, so there isn't a massive buzz about it. You can kind of get it done. Would you be shocked if he sacked Hugh Jackman?
No,
I mean,
not really,
he's won 2 games, he has one game. It just isn't good enough. So that's in play, I think, here and now, because I get the part of the process of complete rebuild, and I understand it all, but they don't look particularly well coached at the moment, regardless of talent. Take someone like the Jets who are lacking talent, or
they've got the hearts.
They're coached, if nothing else. The Bills have got more talent, but they're not talent rich. But they look better. They look well coached. And at the moment, the Cleveland Browns do not look well coached. Greg Williams' defense, he just blitzes, and they're not getting pressure, which is bizarre because it just makes no sense. And then the offense is a mess. Hugh Jackson's this guru. Well, he hasn't gurued anything for a while now, really, has he? So, yeah, Vikings should be handily beating the Browns, and I think that's what we're going to see at Twickenham.
Hopefully.
At Twickers.
I have never been to Twickenham.
No, me either.
Capacity.
No, I've got no idea. I'm not a rugby fan.
You've seen the stadium, though. I think it's an incredible.
I've drove past it.
Yeah, it's an incredible stadium, and I can't wait. My dad's a massive rugby fan, so he goes to St Andrews, he goes to Twickenham, he goes over to France, to Paris to watch the rugby and stuff like that. And he's told me all about Twickenham. I'm really excited to go and see it. I cannot wait for this game.
Keep an eye about, I don't know, British time, 5-6 o'clock. Our drunken periscope's going to be hilarious. Chris going wild in the stands. Keep an eye on it. We're going to consume a lot of beer.
You know what, mate? We're going to consume loads of beer. And here's the thing about the NFL games that I love more than anything. You can drink beer. And that was it. And you thought it might be more than that. It's not. It's that you can... I actually paid for Club Wembley last time because I realised we were forced into getting Club Wembley tickets the time before. I think I've been to 3 or 4 NFL games in the UK now. we were forced into Club Wembley because we bought our tickets a little bit late. And the Club Wembley's amazing. Like, there's no queues at the bar. Like, we were drinking Prosecco because we had a pick of bars and champagne and stuff. And, like, first of all, I was stockpiling beers under my seat. I had, like, a rotation of about 6 pints under my thing, and then we started hitting the Prosecco and stuff. Absolutely magic. Expect more of it on Sunday because we're getting the train.
And when Twickenham's quite posh, isn't it? So, you know, there very well could be some Prosecco.
Mate, I'm having a cucumber butty, mate, like...
I'm in. Keep an eye on
I'm not having a cucumber butty because I don't have butties without meat, but there you go.
Keep an eye on the Periscope.
It's going to be amazing. It's going to be lit. Okay, so we're going to go. And if you're down there for the game and you just fancy a chat, then get on to us and we'll come and have a little chat with you. It'd be good to see anybody who's a fan of the show and obviously a fan of American football. We will definitely make the trip to find you. Okay, so we'll move on. Houston Texans, Seattle Seahawks. Houston depleted on defense. Seattle Seahawks deflated on offense. Who have you picked in this game?
Seattle, because they're at home. I think this could be a really good game. I wouldn't be surprised if Jadeveon Clowney has an absolute day against that offensive line. But ultimately, I think the injuries are going to stack up a bit too much. I think we might see a few mistakes from Deshaun Watson. He's the main man at the moment. People kind of forgot. It's mad when you have a bye week how quickly people forget. But I think that defense is going to cause him a few issues. You know what I mean? I don't think he's going to be able to scramble nearly as much because Bobby Wagner will kill him. And then I think if he does some of these mad throws that he does, and listen, Nuke Hopkins is fantastic and he could well go up and get it, but ultimately the leads will be, you know, Cam Chancellor or Earl Thomas or Sherman or whoever might be a bit too strong for him. So I think it'll be a close...
They live for picking off these type of quarterbacks.
Yeah, I think they're going to hit him a few times. I think they might intercept him a few times. I think he'll have his joy a bit as well, but ultimately I think Seattle are just... The defense is rounding really well. It's rounded into shape, isn't it? And I think in a low-scoring game, I'm picking Seattle. Yeah, I'm picking Seattle as well in this one. Okay, so we're going Dallas, Cowboys, Washington Redskins. What's the latest on Ezekiel Elliott? He's going to play as it stands. Again, I don't understand all this court injunctions and injunctions. I'm not a legal expert, thank God. If I was, that'd be a bit boring, but I'd have loads of money, so it would be a help. But and if he plays, I can't see anything but a Dallas Cowboys win, you know. And I like the Redskins and I've liked the Redskins. Okay. But I do think that the Dallas Cowboys could be a little bit too strong for the Redskins. But I'm thinking 27-24, something like that for the Cowboys. I've picked Washington. I've gone for the Redskins, and I think they're going to... Although the pass rush is Dallas pass rush is picking up at times, you know, Irvin, I think they've been playing well and stuff, but I think Kirk Cousins might have just underneath routes and stuff. I think we might see a bit more of that. And I don't know. I think they'll run. I think Elliott will have. He's good enough. But I think the Redskins have got enough in them to stop them. Hopefully, I don't know what Josh Norman's status is at time recording and stuff. But yeah, I've gone for the Redskins. I think Cousins will beat them. Mid again, like what you said, 20 to 20 something. But I think I've gone for Redskins at home. Okay, we'll move on then. San Francisco 49ers, Philadelphia Eagles, and quite honestly with this one, I don't see anything but a Philadelphia Eagles win. They're at home, they're playing a team that hasn't won a game this season. We've got Carson Wentz who's fighting for MVP at the moment. He's playing at that higher level. They managed to get that running game going with Blunt and Smallwood and everybody else that they've got involved in that as well. They are looking like the team to beat in the NFL at the moment. Yeah, and the reason I put these in this game, I don't think we've talked enough about them considering how good they've been, have we? We kind of... Because of when they've played a bit of prime time, which affects us in terms of going back and watching the film in time to record the shows and stuff. But they again, I thought we just need to talk about them a bit more because they're really, really good. And the one interesting topic again is something that we touched upon briefly in the overtime show, and it is Peters being out at left tackle. That's huge. It's absolutely massive. Last year when Lane Johnson went down, Carson Wentz felt a bit. Yeah, they only won 2 games when Lane went down. Yeah, and now obviously, now we're going to see what they're like with. I don't know what they're going to do. Vaitai is their backup tackle. Does he go left tackle, or do they move Lane Johnson over and put Vaitai at right tackle? We don't know. I think that might be what they do actually, because I think you've got to keep your experienced guy over on the left for me. Yeah, I know football's changing a little bit, and I think the right tackle is just as important as the left now. But whatever. I would rather Wentz, who can move around, be able to see the pressure from his right. Yeah. At least, you know, if Vaitai's getting beat on the left all the time and it is a blind side, that could be a huge, because the Niners front seven has been pretty good this season, on and off. They've invested a lot of first round picks in it, you know, the likes of Buckner and Thomas and Armstead and stuff. So that is one issue where that could be a thing. They go after Vaitai and see what happens about it. But Philadelphia should have too much, you know. Carson Wentz is absolutely flying at the moment, and defensively, it's strange because they lost Derby for a while, although he might be back now. Hicks has just gone out, but Cox has just come back, so they're kind of rotating injured players. They're not all injured at the same time, and they're playing really, really, really well. And Fletcher Cox is going to eat CJ Befford for dinner. I think that's what's going to happen. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Brian Hoy by the end of this game, unfortunately. But yeah, I think Philadelphia by a few.
Listen, we talked a little bit about Kyle Shanahan in the overtime show, but if his football team doesn't win a game this season, are the 49ers okay with that?
They give him a 6-year contract, so they better be, you know what I mean? The GM got a 6-year contract. They know what they're doing. I think they're in year one of what they're doing and stuff. They're not as bad as the Browns when the Browns were rebuilding. They've got more to go off because they have got those first round picks that have hit where everything the Browns touched had bust. You know what I mean? They had 3 first round picks in the same draft with the Manziel Gilbert draft, which is one of the worst drafts of all time by anyone. The Niners, to be fair, have been hitting on their picks and stuff. And Reuben Foster the other day, albeit slightly, he flashed off the screen again when he absolutely ridiculously smashed into people and stuff. So they'll be fine. They just need the quarterback. It's as simple as that. Give them a good quarterback and then go from there. So
do you think they could be someone who's in for Kirk Cousins coming at the end of the season?
I put my house on. That's where Kirk Cousins is going to end up playing. I think they're going to give him loads of money to go and play there. And he'll probably do well there. He's done well with Shanahan before. But the Niners, again, they look well coached. I say that they're losing. Obviously, they got their arses handed to them by Dallas last week, which can happen, unfortunately, when you play that good a team. But they have been competitive. They just there's a little bit lacking offensive line wise and quarterback, and maybe a weapon or two as well. But I think they'll be fine. I think they're quite happy to competitively lose. Okay. They'd rather that than win 5 or 6 games like the Jets are doing. I think they're quite happy to lose competitively, but I think this might be a second blowout in 2 weeks to an NFC East team.
Okay. And yeah, obviously I went for the Philadelphia Eagles as well. So spin around the league then. Woo! We're going into the Chargers New England Patriots game. Chargers coming off the back of 3 straight wins. New England dogging out wins left, right and centre. For me personally, I don't see anything but a New England win again. I think, the Chargers have struggled offensively this season, even though they've managed to turn it around a little bit. New England obviously struggled defensively, but they're finding that way to win. You mentioned it on the overtime show. Brady's playing at a high level once again. He's got no weapons. He still manages to find people. He still manages to get touchdowns. The running game, you never know who's coming in. You never know how that's going to perform, but it always seems to just about do enough.
I've picked New England because I'm going to do that every game, I think now. I've changed my tactic on them. Having said that, the Chargers have got the ability to really get after Tom Brady.
Yeah, Tom Brady's never liked pressure, has he?
No one does, and their line's not playing particularly well. There's people banged up, there's backups in and stuff, and I mentioned that again on the last show, how good Bosa and Ingram are and stuff. They could be all over Tom Brady, and that's how the Chargers could win this game. Just beat Tom Brady up, force a few turnovers, try and run the ball with Melvin Gordon and see if the Patriots defence can stop them, because they've been hit and miss all season. Phil Rivers needs to limit the mistakes, which he has done in recent weeks. He was too loose with the ball for a while.
That's his entire career, that for a while.
He's got Keenan Allen back and he's got Hunter Henry, so he's got a bit more reliability underneath. He isn't trying to force everything down the field. They've got the big playability in Benjamin on the special teams factor as well. The Chargers are well capable of winning this game. Ultimately, I think New England will win at home, but it wouldn't be the shock of all shocks. I think if the Chargers won.
Okay, we'll go Chicago, New Orleans. Who have you picked from this one?
Yeah, I'm going to Saints at home again because
quarterback.
Obviously, that's a huge reason. Drew Brees is playing really well. Funny enough, to another aging quarterback playing well. The Bears, as good as their defense is, I don't see them limiting the Saints to less than 20-21 points, and ultimately, I don't think the offense can keep up in that. They'd have to get defensive scores like they did against Carolina. They were terrible on the offense against Carolina. They just didn't need to be good. I think you will need to be good against New Orleans. They're hiding Mitch Trubisky a lot, which again, they're trying to get him settled, and I think they're going too far the other way. I think you've got to at least give him a chance. It's kind of like buying your kid a bike and not just putting stabilisers on it, but putting bubble wrap all around the floor and 20 helmets on and standing behind, holding behind her. There's so much you need to release a little bit of that. You keep the stabiliser on by all means. It is hard.
Has Lucas got a bike?
It's difficult. It's scary, but ultimately I can't be there all the time. Leave the stabiliser on and see what happens. And if he falls off and grazes around, then we'll take that. They are really, really looking after Trubisky. ultimately they're stifling their own offense by doing it. So let them do a little bit more if I was them. I don't think they will. I don't think they'll win.
Okay, New Orleans Saints for me as well. Okay, so we've got Atlanta Falcons, New York Giants?
I don't know. It says New York. I should really have checked this, shouldn't I? Shall we move on to Carolina, Tampa Bay? And I'll check who it was. I've got my notes. Let me check my notes.
Okay, Carolina Panthers and Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Jets.
Okay, I guessed. Okay, I guess.
I've got my notes. I've actually got on my notes as well. Josh, I'm talking about Josh.
Okay.
It's fine.
Okay,
it's my
so
bad.
all right, we'll go back to it. We've got the Atlanta Falcons at New York Jets. And the reason that we should have known that was New York Jets, because you've picked them, and you wouldn't have picked the Giants.
I have not picked the Jets against the Falcons. I have not. You know what? Would you be shocked?
Yeah.
Haven't seen how bad.
I still would be.
Yeah, I think I've gone Atlanta. It's an upset if they win, but Atlanta's offense is really struggling, and the Jets are fundamentally sound again. I don't know. I can't bring myself to pick them at the moment. Part of my body wants to.
Weapons, mate.
Yeah.
And I think you're only going to need 2-3 touchdowns to win this game of football.
I don't know, but can they score 2 or 3 touchdowns because the red zone offense is
not
garbage.
In the fourth quarter. They can't.
Yeah, they hope they're not ahead. They need to find Julio Jones more.
Yeah, they do.
Get him more involved. I've gone Atlanta, but a little part of me thinking Jets in this, a little tiny part of me.
The Giants?
No, I knew it was the Jets because I got my notes, but I don't do research. But Atlanta just, okay. I haven't got the bottle. Sorry, I bottled it.
I'm definitely going with Atlanta. We'll move on then. Carolina Panthers, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm going to go Tampa Bay Buccaneers because the Carolina Panthers have struggled the last 2 weeks, and Cam Newton 3 weeks ago looked like Cam Newton 2015, and the last 2 weeks he's looked like Cam Newton 2016.
Yeah, maybe he needs to be a bit more misogynistic in the press this week. Go to Tampa and just call out their female reporter. And,
right for him last time.
That seems to be his thing, doesn't it? I've gone Carolina, actually. I think the Bucs defense is there for the taking, and I think Carolina might finally get their running game going. Everyone else has run all over them. If the Panthers can't run in this game, they're in real trouble. Yeah. You might see a lot of Cam running, I think, in this game. Their offensive line isn't creating holes for Stewart or McCaffrey. Those two are getting a bit of stick, but if you watch the tape, there's not much there for them. Everything's having to go outside, in which case it's very rare you get massive gains outside because just the way the angles of football works, it's very hard to get around the edges. I think this might be quite high scoring, and I've picked Carolina in a high scoring game.
Okay, sticking with me Tampa Bay Bucs. Denver Broncos, Kansas City Chiefs. It's the Monday night game. I think the Kansas City Chiefs bounce back in this one, if I'm honest. I can't see that the Denver Broncos get their offense going again. Simeon's had his struggles. Defense will do well. I think they will limit the losses, as it were, to the Kansas City Chiefs. I can't see them running up 30 points, for example, but I do think they'll do enough because ultimately their offense isn't there.
Yeah, same. Yeah, can't argue with that.
Okay, yeah. In the Cincinnati.
Yeah.
It's Cincy, isn't it? It
is. I hate these two teams. They do me head in because I think they're both soft. And again, I said this on the last show. It's me questioning grown men who stand and get their heads kicked in for a living. Who am I to say it? But these are two of the flakiest, soft teams in the league. They just the mentality, there's something there for me, and I think I've gone Cincinnati at home because I think that ultimately they're more talented. Especially, obviously, we don't think Andrew Luck's going to play again. I wouldn't even play him this year. I don't think. No, they're that bad.
There's no need to.
You're wasting your time. Not going to do anything. So, I think we'll see. I hope we see a lot of Joe Mixon. That's what they should do. Obviously, I know the line's pretty poor, but get Joe Mixon going and then go play action a bit, because at least time freeze the pass rush a second. Because at the minute they're just pinning their ears back and going after Dalton and they're getting him. If you can get Mixon going and do a little bit of play action, you might freeze them for half a second, and that's all you need to get AJ Green open, or LaFell's still a decent player. They've still got decent weapons, so that's what I think. I think that's what's going to happen, and I think the Bengals will win.
Okay, Steelers, Lions.
Good game.
Yeah.
Very good game.
Especially Lions coming off a bye week.
Yeah.
It gives them a little bit of an advantage, and they're obviously playing at home. I think the Lions are going to do it in this one, I really do.
Why is that?
Because the bye week.
Okay.
Because I think they'll have had time. Anyone who was carrying those niggling injuries that happens in the season will be coming back fitter and fresher. Steelers' defense is really good. The offense seems to be going at the moment. But I do think this is going to be one of them you score, we score, you score, we score type of games. And then in that instance, I'm now back on Matthew Stafford in the fourth.
Yeah, I picked the Steelers. I think Lev Bell's going to have another monster game. The Detroit defense is starting to show the cracks that I thought it would show. I thought before the season it was talent poor, and they started off really well in fairness to them. They played well, but in recent weeks, obviously before the bye, I've just felt there's been something missing from them and stuff. And I just think Lev Bell, 35 touches, 150 yards, and I think they're going to just do enough in a relatively close game.
Okay. Miami Dolphins, Baltimore Ravens.
This is a good one to put on Thursday Night Football, isn't it?
Yeah, I can't wait for this.
Yeah, Friday morning, I'm up. Dolphins are away. I've gone for I can't pick the Ravens offense at the minute to do anything. I just can't because they're just terrible. They've got no running game. They've got no offensive line. The quarterback is playing really, really poorly. And
it's Matt Moore.
And they've got no weapons. I mean, don't get me wrong, Miami aren't perfect. Far from it. But they've got
Don't they give you a stiffy stick?
No, but they've got pardon the pun, they've got a bit more juice. And I think ultimately a low-scoring, quite boring game where we see the Dolphins win by a touchdown.
Okay. I think Dolphins as well, mate, to be honest with you. Again, because I can't see reasons. I can't see the Baltimore Ravens putting up points, and that definitely does hinder them in the football. Okay, so we've got Oakland Raiders, Buffalo Bills. This could be a really good game as well, you know.
I'm a big fan of this guy. I think I might watch this. Bills are home for me. Mm-hmm. I think, again, I spoke about how well coached they are and stuff. I think they're going to do enough to slow down the offense. The Chiefs' offense has struggled a lot this season. People have been talking about the defense.
Raiders.
Apologies. The Raiders' offense struggled until they played against the Chiefs and they kind of got things going again. Carr looked a bit back to himself. Albeit there was tons of penalties. It was a real weird game. Again, the Bills won't do that. I don't think the Bills will play fundamentally sound football. They won't give them as many chances. And I think teams have ran the ball on Oakland, which is a surprise. And Oakland haven't really been able to run the ball. So I think the Bills will win by a field goal or something like that. I don't know what you think.
I think Bills, I think one of the reasons is Lynch is obviously going to be out as well. Not that he's been putting up good numbers anyway, but he's suspended at the moment, isn't he? So I don't think that, I think they might struggle in the run game. I think Carr, I feel bad saying this because I was really high on Carr last season. I think we've seen what Derek Carr is now so far. I mean, he had a good week last week, of course, but I'm not as high as I was. I think, he's still got those weapons there. All right, Amari Cooper's not been getting open and stuff, but, you should be scheming to get him open better, quite frankly. I think the other thing for me is that there was a lot of things that went right last season for the Oakland Raiders, and I think they've come up against some struggles this season. I think the Bills' defense is going to do enough, and I think Tyrod Taylor will probably scramble out and get a few yards and a few big plays for the Bills, and that just puts them...
I think Shady McCoy will have a good game, I think, in this one and stuff. And again, it'll be a very good game. I wouldn't be at all surprised if Oakland go and win, but I think it's going to be a close game, and in close games, I'll tick the better fundamental, team, and the more disciplined team at the moment. I think that's Buffalo. Okay, well there we go. Can't wait for this weekend in the NFL. Can't wait to see the Minnesota Vikings live. Can't wait to see them beat the Cleveland Browns. Fingers crossed. Anyway, Steve, thanks for joining me once again. It's been Cover 2 TV. I've been Chris Pajak. That's been Steve Bald. And we are Cover 2 TV. There's just nothing you can do on an outro either. I'm just going to end the show. You're going to sit there. Now he's saying it all. You're such a bell end.